All right, it looks like participants are kind of starting to level off and not join anymore. So I think we've got our group. So good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Abby Tynan. I'm with the CSU Health Network, and we are every student's on-campus home for health and well-being at CSU. I also use the pronoun she, her, hers. So today I'm going to be going over the services that are provided for you as a student at CSU Health Network. And I'm also going to be reviewing the new student requirements and recommendations. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will make sure to get to those at the end of the presentation. We will be doing some Q&A, so feel free to use the Q&A function for questions, and then anything else can go in the chat. Before we start, I will be posting some helpful information into the chat here for you to reference at any point during the presentation or after the presentation is complete. So again, drop those questions in the Q&A, and then we will get to them at the end of the presentation. All the information that is in this presentation is on our website, which is health.colostate.edu, and that URL is in the chat that I just posted. And our website is just a great resource for you if you have any questions throughout the spring semester or at any time during your point at CSU. So let's start by talking a little bit about the CSU Health Network. So if there's one thing that you can take away with you from this presentation, it's that all students have full access to all of our services, regardless of your insurance plan. And so that includes our medical, our counseling, and our health education and prevention services. So we are truly here to support you. So we are your on-campus home for healthcare at CSU. And we like to pride ourselves on integrated care for students, meaning that unlike other colleges and universities across the country, we have integrated medical and counseling services all under one roof. And we also know that health and well-being is such a critically important part of your experience and success as a student on your path to graduation. And we firmly believe that we have the resources to kind of set you up for success on that path. So we have over 200 providers and staff members that are experienced with and passionate about college healthcare. And we are also accredited by the AAAHC, as well as the American Psychological Association. And typically we get a question, do you have real doctors or are these students practicing on students? And the answer is yes, we have real doctors. They are board certified providers that go through rigorous accreditation processes each year, and they are truly passionate about working with the college student population. Today's presentation is going to be covering 4 service areas. So we have our medical, counseling, health education and prevention services, as well as our business services. So a little bit about what we are. So as I just mentioned, we have medical, counseling, and health education and prevention services for all students. So as a student, you get full access to all of our services, and we do not provide services to folks in the community or even faculty or staff members. So we only serve CSU students. We are your first stop for medical and counseling health needs. So if you have, a mental health concern, or maybe you're not feeling well one day, we are definitely your first stop. So healthcare can look a little different in the United States compared to maybe your home country, for example. So because we are on campus and have all of the services that I'm about to cover here shortly, we are definitely your first stop for medical and mental health needs. And one thing that may be different in the United States, again, compared to your home country, is that your care that you receive is private and confidential. So no one's going to know about the services that you access unless you want them to know. So let's dive into our medical services here. So within medical, we have kind of these 2 main branches. So we have our general medical services and then our specialty medical services. So within our general region, we have our primary care. So you can think of that as just kind of your regular doctor's office. So if you need to go and get a checkup, you can come and see one of our providers. We also have a pharmacy on our first floor. So if at any point during your time at CSU, you need to have a prescription medication, you can pick that up directly from our facility. We also offer a variety of over-the-counter medications such as Advil and Tylenol, and we even have like lotion, creams, and stuff like that too. So certainly a great resource for students. We also have our Immunizations Department, and that is on the second floor of the CSU Health and Medical Center. So if you have yet to get your flu shot, you can definitely receive that at our facility, or maybe you have yet to receive some of the required immunizations for your time here at CSU. You can get those at the CSU Health Network or a variety of other immunizations as well. And then rounding out that general medical services branch, we have our laboratory, radiology, and behavioral health. And then moving on to our specialty medical services, this really kind of sets us apart from other college and university healthcare systems. So we have a lot of services that folks may not think that we would have. So for example, we have our allergy and asthma clinic. So if you need allergy injections, you can receive those at our facility. We also have a dentist right on site. So if you need to get your teeth cleaned, you can do that at the CSU Health Network. In addition, we have optometry services. So you can receive your annual eye exam at our facility, and you can also pick up your contacts directly from us. So if you are wearing contacts, that could be a great benefit for you. In addition, we have physical therapy, psychiatry, transgender care, travel medicine, and women's care. And so to access medical services, students can make an appointment either online through our CSU Student Health Portal or by calling the CSU Health Network. And while students are definitely best served by making appointments, if you wake up and you are really not feeling well, maybe you are injured, vomiting, whatever the situation may be, and you need immediate medical attention, you can walk in and be seen day of. So again, you can make an appointment online or by calling, or if you need immediate medical attention, you can walk into our facility. When you have an appointment with our medical services, you do need to bring your CSU ID card as well as your insurance card. And so for most folks on this call, you may be enrolled in this CSU sponsored student health insurance plan. So you would bring that insurance card with you. And then your out-of-pocket costs are just dependent on what your health insurance plan benefits are. So if you are on the CSU sponsored student health insurance plan, depending upon the services, you will most likely not pay anything out of pocket as long as you are seen at our facility. Now moving on to our mental health support resources. So we are very proud of this culture of help seeking that has been embraced by CSU. This is all the way from the president's office to faculty, staff, and students. And so by paying your student fees, all students get access to a wide range of mental health support resources. And so this includes our skill building workshops, group therapy, and then brief individual therapy. And so for most folks, when they think of mental health support resources or counseling services, they only really think of that individual one-on-one therapy. However, that really is not always the best course of treatment or what is maybe clinically recommended for every single student. And so we want you to know that there's a variety of these mental health support resources, even beyond that brief individual counseling. And so that includes our multicultural counseling. So this is really identity-based services for students. We have groups and workshops, substance use and abuse help. We have our post-hospitalization support, also known as I-Team. We have our crisis intervention team. We offer consultations with colleagues, parents, and friends. And then we do offer referrals into the community if you are needing more of that, like ongoing one-on-one weekly therapy sessions. And so you can visit our website, health.colostate.edu/mental-health-resources to learn more about the available mental health support resources. And we will be updating this list for spring 2022 offerings at some point during this week. So I certainly encourage you to go back and check that out and see all of the great ways that CSU Health Network can support your mental health. So if you are interested in accessing our mental health support resources, specifically our counseling services, you can come directly to counseling services, which is located on the third floor of the CSU Health and Medical Center. And our licensed professionals will work closely with you to determine the services that are right for you, given your goals, your preferences, and then of course, what's clinically appropriate for you based on your needs. So this slide goes a little bit more into depth about exactly what to expect during counseling services. So as I mentioned, the first step is to come and see us on the third floor of the CSU Health and Medical Center. So we have folks working during what's called our drop-in hours. And so you will meet with one of our on-call counselors and talk with them about what your areas of concern are, your goals, your history, your unique circumstances, and your identities. And we will work with you to create a wellness plan or kind of next steps that best fit your needs and preferences. So for some folks, maybe it is that individual brief one-on-one counseling services. Others, it may be groups and workshops. Some folks prefer our online resources, or maybe it's even resources across campus. Now diving into our last two kind of main service branches at the health network. So we have our health education and prevention services, as well as our business services. So within our health education and prevention services, otherwise known as HEPS, we have a variety of robust skill building programs and services. And so these include our substance abuse prevention initiatives. We have mental health initiatives. This is all the way on the spectrum of stress reduction to suicide prevention. We have our peer education group CRUs, and they do a lot of wonderful work around choice making and bystander behavior. So what does it mean to look out for your fellow RAMs? How do you spot a student in distress? And so if at any point during your time at CSU, you hear the words RAMs take care, RAMs take action, that comes directly from our peer education group CRUs. We also offer our well-being initiatives, sexual health initiatives, and then tobacco cessation. And then our business services are really just kind of our internal arm to the health network. So within our business services, we deal with our student health insurance, any private insurance billing, our RAM Care supplement program, and then we also have our medical records located within our business services. So for folks who have been to Fort Collins, you may have seen this building. So this is located on the corner of College and Prospect, and it is the CSU Health and Medical Center. And the CSU Health Network is located inside of the CSU Health and Medical Center. So we take up the entirety of the second and the third floor and about half to 2/3 of the first floor. And so when we were building this building a handful of years ago, if you have been to campus, you may have noticed that parking can be a little bit of a hot commodity. And so we didn't want cost of parking or access to parking to be a barrier to students accessing our services. And so I believe we have one of the only free parking lots on campus. So as long as you have an appointment at the CSU Health and Medical Center, you can park in our lot for free. However, for folks who may not have their own vehicle, there are plenty of other ways that you could access our facility. So I'll point out the Around the Horn stop. So Around the Horn is a campus busing system that has stops outside of different residence halls and academic buildings and other locations across campus. And they do have a stop near our facility. So depending upon where you are on campus, that could be a great way to reach us. We also have the Max stop. I'll point that out. So the Max bus is a Fort Collins bus that runs parallel to College Avenue. That is one of our main roads in Fort Collins. And CSU students can ride the Max bus for free with their RAM card. And so the Max has a stop about a couple hundred feet outside of our west entrance. So depending upon where you're at in the Fort Collins community or on campus, the Max bus could be a great way to access our services. In addition, we have ample bike, longboard parking, and then of course you can always walk to our facility as well. So let's talk about when the CSU Health Network is open. So the CSU Health Network is only open Monday through Friday about 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we do have different hours based off of university holidays or different closures during breaks, for example. But for the most part, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so we offer a phone support helpline for folks who may be needing services at night when we're closed or on the weekends for urgent problems. And so one thing we like to tell students is do not wait to come and access our services. So if you have a problem or an issue, please come and see us when it's starting. Don't wait until it kind of snowballs to be this larger issue. So please come and visit us. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So you already may have kind of figured out why we exist, but I think it's important to recap. So the reason that we exist is to solely help you with your medical and mental health needs so you can be successful during your time here at the university. We know that college can be a big transition for folks, and so we definitely feel like we have the resources to help you get healthy, stay healthy, adjust to a new environment, because we know that change can be huge, and then solve problems as well. So just know that we are truly a great resource for you and are here to support you on your path to graduation. So again, another recap, how you can access us. So as I mentioned, we are best accessed by students who can make an appointment. So you can call 970-491-7121 to make an appointment, or you can schedule an appointment online through the CSU Student Health Portal. However, again, if you are needing immediate medical attention, whether you're injured, vomiting, whatever the case may be, you can walk into our office and be seen day of. So CSU Health Network, as I mentioned, open Monday through Friday about 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we are on campus and offer all of the wonderful medical and counseling services that I've just talked about. But what happens when we are closed and you're not feeling well? So I briefly touched on this a couple slides ago, but we do offer these wonderful phone helplines. So we have our after hours nurse helpline, as well as our mental health crisis intervention line. So say it's a Saturday and you're not feeling well, you can call the after hours nurse helpline and speak with one of our on-call nurses, and they can walk you through whether it is, maybe appropriate for you to wait until Monday when our services reopen and access care, or if maybe you are needing more, urgent care or emergency room care, and then they can direct you to how to access that. And so there is a list of our local urgent care and emergency room facilities in the Fort Collins area listed on our website, which is health.colostate.edu. And this is one great example of how healthcare in the United States may differ from your home country. So our emergency room care can be very expensive. And so when you do have an emergency, definitely use these after hours helplines so that way you're not being charged a lot of money if you don't need to be. And so urgent cares are typically also cheaper than emergency room cares emergency room care. And so just make sure to utilize these phone helplines and kind of just learn the difference between kind of this primary care, which is the CSU Health Network, and then urgent care and emergency room facilities. And of course, we certainly encourage you, if we are open, please come and see us. We are your first stop for all of those medical and counseling needs that we mentioned. But with that being said, in the event of a life-threatening emergency, please call 911. So that is our emergency number, 911. So this is a great question for folks. So how will you pay for the services that you receive, whether it is at the CSU Health Network or maybe off campus? So your health insurance in the United States is what helps pay for medical services. So what you owe is all dependent upon your health insurance plan benefits. And so this is specifically for our medical services. So again, if you are on the CSU sponsored student health insurance plan and you receive services at the CSU Health Network, you most likely will not have any out-of-pocket costs. However, that changes if you go off campus to an urgent care or an emergency room facility. But the difference between our medical and our counseling services is that we do not bill health insurance for our counseling services. So your counseling fee, which is again part of student fees, provides you access to all of our mental health support resources at no additional cost to you. So again, medical services is dependent upon your health insurance. Counseling at CSU Health Network is all covered by your student fees. So at this point, we're going to do a little bit of a pop quiz. So I'm going to encourage you all to open the chat function, not the Q&A function. Please open the chat function and type in the answers to the following questions. And then of course, if you have a question about any of the content that we've covered so far, please use the Q&A. But for the pop quiz, please open your chat function. So let's go to question number 1. So what services are provided at the CSU Health Network? Is it A, medical services, B, counseling services, C, health education and prevention services, D, all of the above, or what? I just woke up. So let's see what's kind of coming in here. A lot of D's. That's awesome. Yep. So that is correct. So answer number 1 is D, all of the above. So CSU Health Network is every student's on-campus home for medical and mental health needs during your time at CSU. Okay, question number 2. Do you have to be really upset to see a counselor? A, yes. B, no. C, they said no, but I think you do. What are folks' thoughts here? Drop those in the chat. Hope we had a variety coming through. All right, here we go. Answer to number 2 is B, no. You do not have to be really upset to see a counselor. So our counselors are here to help you with your problems, whether they are big or small. Right, question number 3. What are some good reasons to come and visit the medical services at CSU Health Network? A, bad sore throat, B, headaches, C, sickness, D, questions about women's health, or E, all of the above. You all are awesome. I'm just seeing E flying through the chat here. That's great. So the answer is E, all of the above. So whether you're not feeling well, if you just have a health question, come and see us on the 2nd floor of the CSU Health and Medical Center, and we'll do our best to answer your questions and certainly give you the best care we can. Right, question number 4. Should you go to the hospital if you have a life-threatening illness? A, yes, B, no. Awesome. All sorts of A's flying through the chat here. So yes, the answer is A. If you have a life-threatening illness or an emergency, you should go to the hospital or call 911. Okay, question number 5. Who will we tell about your visit? A, parents, B, teachers, C, friends, D, none of the above. Awesome, I'm seeing lots of D's here. So that is the correct answer, D, none of the above. So CSU Health Network is completely confidential. So we are not going to tell anyone about your visit unless you want us to. So we won't tell your family, your friends, anyone, unless you give us permission. Great, so thank you so much for kind of playing along with our little pop quiz. So that section wraps up information about the CSU Health Network and our services. So this next section is really going to dive into our new student checklist, talking about the requirements and recommendations for being a new student at CSU. And again, if you have questions about any of this content, please drop them in that Q&A function, and I'd be happy to answer them at the end of this presentation. Okay. So the first requirement we're going to talk about here is our immunizations requirement. So Colorado law does require every student to submit proof of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination. So that's 2 MMR vaccinations that are required by Colorado law. And then for students who are living in student housing, such as the residence halls, for example, Colorado law does require students to submit proof of the meningococcal vaccination given within the last 5 years. So that's kind of the important factor there, is that the meningococcal vaccination must be given within the last 5 years. And then I'm sure at this point you have heard about our COVID-19 vaccine requirement. So for spring 2022 semester, you must submit the COVID-19 vaccine records or declare an exemption by the first day of class. So that's Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. And the university did recently announce that they are going to be requiring COVID booster shots as well. And so we are in the process of finalizing exactly how students will submit those. And we should have something figured out by the end of this week. So please be in the lookout in your emails for information on how to submit your booster record. But if you have yet to submit your COVID vaccine requirement in general, please feel free to submit when you do a picture of your card, your first, second dose and that booster dose if you've already received it. So the due date for both of these immunizations, the ones required by Colorado law, so the MMR and the meningococcal, are the first day of classes. So that's January 18th, 2022. And so all of the immunization records must be submitted online to the CSU Student Health Portal. So we do not accept any paper submissions. And so you can scan your records or take a picture of them with your phone, whatever is easier for you, and then just submit them online. There are detailed instructions on exactly how to submit them on our website, which is health.colostate.edu. And I do want to note that all immunization records must be translated into English. So please make sure that your records are in English before you go ahead and upload those. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact our Immunizations Department for more information. The next here is to complete required health forms. And so the one that really is applicable to you all is this tuberculosis assessment and the health history. So while these are not required, they are certainly highly recommended. And so students can complete the health history form as well as the tuberculosis assessment online by logging into the health portal at health.colostate.edu. And I do want to clarify the tuberculosis assessment is not an actual test. You do not get pricked with the needle. It's simply a couple questions that you answer online that help us assess your potential exposure to TB. So know that it's not a big deal. You just have to answer a couple of questions online. And then the health history just gives us kind of that complete background on your personal health. So it kind of just gives us that big picture so that way we are best able to treat you whenever you do come in and access our services. So the deadline to complete these health forms is Tuesday, January 18th, the first day of classes. So again, make sure you get both of these health forms done, the TB assessment as well as the health history. Next, I want to walk you through how to access the CSU Student Health Portal. So this is a screenshot of our website, which is health.colostate.edu. And so you can see here at the bottom, we have this quick links panel. And that second link will take you directly to the Student Health Portal. So if you go to our website, health.colostate.edu, click that Student Health Portal under quick links, it will take you to this page, which is portal.health.colostate.edu. And here you will log in with your e-name and password, just like you would if you're logging onto RamWeb, for example. And then it will take you to this page. So this is your kind of landing page or home page for your personal CSU Student Health Portal. And so, for example, when you're uploading those immunizations forms or filling out the health history or TB assessment, as long as you have yet to complete these requirements, you will always have this "you have pending forms" notification. So that's kind of a great way to gauge, have I met this requirement or have I not? However, you can always access all of your forms through that My Forms button directly on that main navigation. And then whenever you are ready to upload documents such as your COVID-19 vaccine card, for example, you can click that document upload button on the screen. So at this point, I'm going to share a brief video about the overview of the US healthcare system. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen and jump to another screen real quick and then share this video with you.
But it is complex, difficult. The U.S. healthcare system offers some of the best medical care in the world. But it is complex, difficult to navigate, and often very expensive. The U.S. system will also likely be very different from the healthcare system you are used to back home. In this section of the video,
so sorry.
Offers some of the best medical care in the world. But it is complex, difficult to navigate, and often very expensive. The U.S. system will also likely be very different from the healthcare system you are used to back home. In this section of the video, we offer a few simple tips. First, like most Americans, you will need a private insurance plan, either through your school or one that you purchase directly. There is no universal access or national health care like many countries offer. When you seek any medical care, the provider you choose, hospital, doctor, or clinic, will look to you and to your insurance carrier to get paid for their services. There will be no payment from the government, and healthcare can be very expensive in the U.S. Here are a few recent real-life examples. Appendicitis, $60,493. Fractured humerus, $47,445. Fractured clavicle, $18,393. Car crash or serious illness, $150,000 plus. We hope by now it's clear why you need insurance. However, even with insurance, you should still be prepared to pay some portion of the cost of your medical care. Cost sharing is an important element of the U.S. system. So medical care is never entirely free, and each time you access the system, you should expect some cost. While your insurance plan will typically cover the majority of expenses, there will be copays, deductibles, coinsurance, excluded charges, or some combination of these items that will ensure that you pay something. Carefully review your insurance documentation so you understand how these payments work for your plan. When you get sick or injured, where do you seek care? Here's where it can get complicated. The medical system in the USA is made up of a mixture of many different types of providers. Large and small hospitals, emergency rooms, private doctor's offices, urgent care centers, walk-in clinics, specialists' offices, surgery centers, pharmacies, and our favorite, the on-campus clinic. As daunting as it may look, if you keep a few simple points in mind, seeking medical care does not need to be overly complicated. The main thing to do is, if at all possible, stay out of the emergency room. Emergency rooms in the US are expensive and are designed for life-threatening or very severe illnesses and injuries. If you have the flu or a sprain or minor cut, you can go to an urgent care center, walk-in clinic, on-campus clinic, or doctor's office for a fraction of the cost of the emergency room. The best place to start, if at all possible, is your on-campus health center or clinic. These clinics are typically available at reduced cost or even free, are close and convenient, and even if you end up having to go somewhere else later, will save you money under most insurance plans.
Awesome. So let's jump back into the presentation now. So again, just a brief overview of the US healthcare system, just to kind of lead us up and set us up for success to talk about the health insurance requirement here. So the next requirement is to fulfill the health insurance requirement. And so this is required for all students, including international students. And so specifically for international students, you are automatically enrolled in the CSU Student Health Insurance Plan. And so you are billed for the cost of the plan after you register for classes. However, if you have a acceptable private insurance coverage that works in the United States, you can opt out of the student health insurance plan through a waiver process, as long as you can show proof of this comparable private health insurance coverage. So if you do have other health insurance coverage, you can submit a waiver request form and a copy of your current insurance policy to the CSU Student Health Insurance Office. And so the deadline to do this is Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. And so the waiver request form is located on our website, so it's something that you can already go ahead and download. So accepted waivers include most employer group health plans, approved sponsor plans, or individual plans that meet healthcare reform law. However, non-accepted waivers include short-term plans such as international student plans, foreign plans, as well as individual plans that do not meet healthcare reform law. So our CSU sponsored student health insurance plan pays for all costs for most medical services when you are seen at the CSU Health Network. 60 to 80% of most medical costs at a hospital or medical clinic after paying a $500 deductible are covered by the CSU Student Health Insurance Plan. And then under the plan, you also receive $250 in what we call flex dollars. And these are to be used towards non-covered services at the CSU Health Network, such as dental and optometry, for example. So the CSU Health Insurance Plan, like I just mentioned, does not pay for dental care, vision care, elective services, non-medically necessary services, or over-the-counter medications. And so that's why we can use these flex dollars specifically at our facility for dental and vision, since in the United States, you require separate insurance for dental and vision care. So moving on to the next requirement is to complete online modules. And so alcohol EDU and sexual assault prevention are required for all incoming students. And so alcohol EDU provides personalized feedback that encourages students to consider their own drinking decisions as well as those of their peers. And then sexual assault prevention educates students on issues associated with stalking, interpersonal violence, and sexual assault. And then our Chief Financial Wellness module is not required, but definitely recommended, and helps walk you through how to manage your personal finances, whether it's from student loans to credit cards, all that kind of stuff. So certainly not required, but definitely could be a good option for folks. And so alcohol EDU, sexual assault prevention, and Achieve should already be available to you. So they were available 35 days prior to the beginning of the semester. And so you should have already begun receiving email notifications to your CSU email address alerting you that these programs are open. So you can access these directly through your RAM web account. And the deadline to complete both of these is the first day of classes, Tuesday, January 18th. And so if you do not complete both of these required modules, so alcohol, EDU, and sexual assault prevention, you will have a hold put on your student account and you will not be able to register for the next semester until these modules are complete. So if you have yet to do these, make a note in your planner or your phone to get these modules done by the first day of classes. Next, we're going to talk about You at CSU and to create a You at CSU profile. So You at CSU is our online student success portal that connects students to personalized on-campus and online resources. And so You at CSU provides confidential, customized feedback to help you meet your goals or address your concerns in 3 areas: succeed, thrive, and matter. And so CSU students can access You at CSU directly through your RamRev account. And we definitely encourage you to log on and start exploring You at CSU even before the semester starts. You at CSU has so many great resources for you, and it's just kind of a great way to get to know all of the wonderful things CSU provides to you as a student before the semester begins. So at that point, that wraps up my presentation. So you should leave here knowing a little bit more about the CSU Health Network, all of our great medical, counseling, and health education and prevention services, how to access our services. You should have learned a little bit more about how healthcare works in the United States. And then of course, a brief overview of all of the requirements and recommendations as a new student at CSU. Just a reminder, I did drop some helpful links into the chat before the presentation started this morning. So those are great resources for you. So you will find our Health Network website, our Health Network phone number. There's also a link to our new student booklet that covers everything that I discussed in the presentation today, as well as our new student checklist, which also dives into depth about those new student requirements and recommendations. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to open the Q&A and do my best to answer questions that folks have submitted.
Abby, one thing that came up in the chat after you posted the links is the what to expect at counseling services link is private. So that is not accessible to people.
That is good to know. I was unaware of that. Thank you so much. I will check that out. I'm going to jot that down before I forget. Okay. So one of the questions, I heard that some students told me they purchased additional dental insurance. I wondered what that would allow if I already have the CSU health insurance plan. That's an excellent question. So how insurance works in the United States is you generally have medical insurance, which is what the CSU health insurance plan is. And then there are separate plans for dental as well as for vision. And so in this case, the CSU sponsored student health insurance plan does not provide any coverage for dental services. So we do not, it's not a dental insurance plan. If you see the Health Network dentist, you can use your flex dollars, which is $250 per semester. And that can be put towards the cost of your dental services. But if if the bill is $500, you would be responsible for that remaining $250. So it's certainly an option for you, but we do not offer specific dental or vision plans. You would have to buy that elsewhere. So that is completely separate from the student health insurance plan. So I hope that kind of answered that question. So dental insurance would provide additional coverage that the student health insurance plan does not provide you at dentists. Okay. Is it true that sponsored students are automatically waived from the CSU student health insurance plan? I do not know the answer to that. I believe that every student who is looking to waive the student health insurance plan does need to fill out that waiver, and that is on our website. And so I can drop that into the chat. So I would just, I would not count on that being true. I would confirm that, because I would hate for you to pay the cost of the health insurance plan if you didn't need to. So let me find that and I will drop that in the chat briefly, just a moment.
For the question about the sponsored student, there will be a session for sponsored students, and that information will be provided there. I do think there is someone that helps with that requirement. So it's possible that is the case, that it is automatically waived with the help of one of our staff members. But please check with Christy Eiler during the sponsored student session, which she'll email about.
Thanks, Bronwyn. And I did drop the international health insurance waiver link into the chat. So for folks who are interested, that link is live in the chat for you. The next question, can I get some of my immunizations, such as my measles, mumps, and rubella vaccinations on campus? And the answer is yes, you certainly can get any of those immunizations directly on campus, whether it's your MMR, your meningococcal, your flu shot, whatever immunizations you may need, you can definitely get those at our facility. All immunizations are made by appointment only, so you will need to call our facility or make an appointment online in order to receive those. But again, yes, you can definitely receive those vaccinations at the CSU Health Network. Okay. So the question is I think it's asking if a specific type of COVID vaccine is acceptable in order to meet the requirements for CSU. So you can check the COVID website, and I'll drop that link into the chat shortly, but I believe as long as it's any WHO approved vaccine, so the World Health Organization, as long as it is a WHO approved vaccine, you are good to go there. However, in terms of the booster requirement, I believe that the Sino farm, and again, you're going to have to double check, and you can certainly call our immunizations department because they would know better than I would. But I believe only the Pfizer vaccine is eligible as a booster for folks who have the Sino farm vaccine. So not Moderna, but let me put a link in the chat for folks to kind of learn more about that. So give me just 1 second. Okay, so I would encourage you, this is the link to the vaccination webpage at the university. There's a lot of other great resources that may not live on this direct page, so I certainly encourage you to explore that webpage to learn more. And again, if you have specific questions about COVID vaccinations, please feel free to call our facility and our immunizations folks can speak with you. Okay. So the question is a TB blood/skin test required, or is it optional? So we do not require a blood skin test for TB. What we do ask is for you to complete that online questionnaire. So there's no blood or skin test. You just have to answer a couple of questions. So blood skin test not required. Okay, so this person was a previous student at another university getting their master's program, and they've lost their MMR documents. And so they're wondering what other options there are. So first, I would encourage you to reach out to the university where you received your degree from and see if they may still have your health records on file, and you can get a copy of it from them. Typically, universities will hold on to a student's health records for about 10 years prior, or excuse me, post graduation. So I would encourage you to reach out to your previous university first. Second, if they do not have records of your immunizations, what you can do in the case of MMR is complete, it's called a blood titer, I believe it's called. And so it basically will show that you have received the vaccination. So I would say start at your previous university. If you can't find it, please call our immunizations department and they can set you up with a titer. And there is information about that on our website with our immunizations requirement, as well as in the booklet talking about if you can't find those records. Next question is, where can I find the tuberculosis assessment form? So the tuberculosis assessment form is on the CSU Student Health Portal, which is portal.health.colostate.edu. I'm typing that in the chat right now. And you should be able to find that under My Forms. Yeah, so the next question is it possible to buy over-the-counter drugs from the CSU Health Network pharmacy, such as ointments? Yes, we have a variety of over-the-counter medication. So depending upon what ointment you need, maybe it's like a cortisone cream or an Aquaphor kind of Vaseline, whatever it is. Yes, we have a variety of over-the-counter medicines that you can purchase directly from us. So our pharmacy is on the first floor of the CSU Health and Medical Center. Again, open Monday through Friday, about 8 to 5. So you can just walk right in and check out our variety of over-the-counter medication. Okay. This next one. Okay, so the next question was saying that this student has received an email to their CSU email address from Ameriben, saying that they need to complete it in order to access the health insurance form. And so if you've received an email from Ameriben, that is directly related to the health network. So they are kind of our third-party provider that helps us with our CSU student health insurance. However, this person is saying that that the link is broken when they try to access that URL. So for the student who is asking this question, I'm going to drop an email address into the chat. Please email them and tell them that you are experiencing this. This email goes directly to our CSU Student Health Insurance Department, and they will be able to help you with this. And so if other folks on this call are having that same issue, please feel free to email this email address, and they should get you set up. Yeah. So this next question is, what's the difference between RAM Care and a RAM card, and where do I get them? So RAM Care is a supplemental insurance program for students who are on private insurance. So because you are all international students, RAM Care is for domestic students that they can purchase on top of their plan. Because international students are automatically enrolled in the CSU sponsored student health insurance plan, all the benefits of RAM Care are already included in the student health insurance plan. So that's why that's one separate thing. So as an international student, you do not need to worry about RAM Care. A RAM card is your CSU ID. So that is definitely something that's very important. Bronwyn, I don't know at what point they will be accessing their RAM cards. That's kind of outside of my realm at the health network. But there is a RAM card office in the Laurie Student Center. So if you have yet to get your RAM card, I'm assuming you can walk right in there and do that. But Bronwyn might know a little better than me potentially. Sorry for putting you on the spot, Bronwyn.
Oh, that's okay. I'll drop a link in their question for that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So for the question, when and where can we get our insurance card? That kind of goes back to that question about Ameriben. So you should have received an email from Ameriben prompting you to get your insurance card. If you have not received that email or are still having issues, again, please email that email address that I put in the chat. It is CSUHN_insurance@colostate.edu, and they should be able to help you with that. I will also drop this link in the chat as well. I would encourage you to try this if you are still having issues accessing your insurance card. The link that I just dropped into the chat provides instructions on how to download your card from Ameriben. So try that first. If you still have issues, please email our health insurance office. Yep, so this person says, I already have an insurance plan. Do I need to request a waiver? If so, can you send a link or tell us the name of the website? So yes, if you already have an insurance plan and you would like to request a waiver, you can use the link that I dropped in. It says health insurance waiver. It's in the chat. It was dropped in around 10:42 this morning. So please feel free to use that and submit that to our health insurance team, and then they will get that processed for you. Okay. Yeah, so this is a great question. So this person says, I've received 2 doses of the COVID vaccine in my home country. Where and when can I get a booster shot here in Fort Collins? So excellent question. I will drop some information in the chat. If folks are already on campus, we are actually having a COVID vaccine clinic today. That goes until 3, so there may still be spots open and you're welcome to sign up for that. Otherwise, there's a variety of places in the community that are offering COVID vaccines, including one of the churches here in campus, as well as the Larimer County Health Department. And then the CSU Health Network, sometime in the coming weeks, is hoping to offer COVID vaccine boosters. We just do not have that ability at the moment. So I'm dropping a link right now into the chat about COVID vaccination clinics, and where you can get those boosters. Yep, so the next question is, could you please share a link for where to schedule an MMR appointment? So you can schedule an MMR appointment through our Immunizations Department. So you can call, and I'm dropping this in the chat, you can call them at 970-491-7121 and tell them that you need to receive your MMR vaccination, or you can schedule a immunizations appointment online through our health portal at portal.health.colostate.edu. So both of those information, or both of those pieces, I just dropped in the chat. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I'm assuming the CSU Healthcare, so I'm assuming the CSU Health Network, have an email address for general inquiries or questions. I only found their phone number on their website, but not any email addresses. For this person, I would say, I guess I'm curious the specifics of your question, just because most folks do call just to schedule an appointment, or if they have questions, I can drop an email address in the chat, but the email address is not monitored as frequently as our phone lines. You could certainly try that, but again, I would love to know the specifics of your question so I could maybe help better answer that for you. Let me get back. I'm trying to think like the best address to give you. So I'll come back to that question. Okay, in the health portal. Yep, so this is a great question. So this person said that they have received their meningococcal vaccination when they were a child. Do they need to retake it? And so the answer is yes. If you received your meningococcal vaccination as a child, you will need to get another dose of that, since the requirement is to have had that vaccine within 5 years of coming to the university. So if you have yet to receive that in the past 5 years, yes, you will need to get immunized again. Okay. I will give a couple minutes for folks who have any other questions to answer the Q&A. But it looks like I pretty much got to all of them with the exception of this email address. I would encourage you, I'm just worried about the email address being monitored, and I don't think it's monitored very heavily, which is why we don't post it. So I would encourage you to just give us a call, because I would hate for you to email and have someone not get back to you in a timely manner. So I'm dropping our phone number again in the chat one more time, but you're welcome to reach out to me directly if you feel comfortable, and I'd be happy to try and answer your question or pass that along to someone who could. So I'm entering my email address into the chat. Okay, any other questions? So the question is, are Sinopharm vaccines or boosters also administered in the United States? No, they are not. And this is because that is not an FDA approved vaccine in the United States. That's not approved by kind of like our government. So our FDA approved vaccines are Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. So if you are needing a vaccine or a booster, once you're in the United States, it would be one of those three. Great question. Any others that I can try and answer? All right, I think we might be good. Well, thank you everyone so much. Oh, here we are. COVID vaccines free in the US. Yes, they are. So COVID vaccines are free. Again, we offer them a variety of places, and so you will not have to pay for those. Great question. So thanks folks again for your time today. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Abby. Feel free to call us at the number that I just dropped in the chat, or if you have any direct questions, I'm happy to try and answer them. So my email is also in the chat. So I just want to thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a wonderful spring semester at CSU. And Bronwyn, thank you again so much for